Obviously, the big news is that you guys have reunited after many years apart.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2011 that we learned that the group would be disbanding. And I guess the big question to start with is why now? Why reunite right now?
Yeah, time has passed. It also, we still did keep in touch, and, Alexei and I have a daughter together, so we're in touch, quite frequently. And we all really, we love playing together, and we missed playing together. We missed that friendship, and we missed that time together. And I think we miss these songs. We miss playing music together.
You got any thoughts on that, James?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like we were all actually really connected throughout the time. Ben and Ryan and I were doing Grave Trio stuff and playing with Toby Churchill and playing with Channy a little bit and playing with Alexei. And playing with Jesse. So we were doing things all throughout the time, but it just wasn't necessarily all as Roma or doing those songs. And I think it was like last year was Standing Rock. There was like this opportunity to do something for that, do a benefit, and I think it was because we had that kind of larger motivation and cause that it was like kind of really easy to say yes. It wasn't about us, or we didn't know what else would it lead to, but
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we came together for the benefit for Standing Rock, and then it kind of got us. And
then we had fun.
Yeah.
We were having so much fun playing the songs and just hanging out together again, and it felt so good to just to finally like have so much positivity happening after all. It was really hard when things had broken up, so it just feels so healing. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when it was like at its most scattered and everyone was kind of doing their own thing, it's still like in the back of my mind I had a feeling that we would just come together at some point again. And I don't know if I share this with y'all, but like literally like a week before, Channy, you reached out and were like, hey, do you want to do like the Standing Rock thing? Ben and I were at the Cedar, and I think it was for like a Dosh thing, but we were packing up, and we were both like, man, we kind of miss like, playing together and on this stage. And I think I said something like, I have a feeling it won't be too much longer. And then, within a week, you reached out with that
That's
invitation.
Funny, I didn't know that.
So I don't know. It just seemed like it was just a matter of time,
Yeah. Stars aligning again.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you've been involved in many other projects in this time, but one that I saw pretty early on was Wary, which was Channy on vocals and many of the same bandmates. And I'm hearing a little bit of that sound kind of on this record.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you could maybe reflect on, how your work in other projects these past 7 years has kind of seeped in now to Roma di Luna.
Oh, yeah. In a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, Ben and Ryan and James continued to play with each other in Grave Trio, and that sort of ambient music that the three of them were creating seeped into sort of when the four of us started playing, and then Alexei bringing into this record, there's some of his writing and maybe what you call like spoken word or poetry over these songs, and bringing that in, and then just even some of the vocal effects that I've used over the past 7 years with Polisa, then finding a more delicate version of that, and so kind of realizing, and I think we all knew that, but how important it was to take time away, and then kind of have new things to bring to the table. But of course, we've all been kind of influenced by the past 7 years, everything that we've done, that different projects that people have been doing.
Alexei, you did an interview recently for the Cedars website, and I was reading, it surprised me that a lot of the songs on this new record were actually written quite a while ago, like in kind of the aftermath of Roma di Luna disbanding. And some of the lyrics are really poignant and reflecting on that period with a lot of pain and transition. And I'm just wondering, what is it like to sing these songs now and revisit that time?
I think that's why we needed the amount of time that we did. In fact, because we really, some of these songs were played as wary. But it was, for me, the lyrics on this song are very, were painful at the time. But they helped me, like even Made to Forgive. And it's just like my dad, who's a songwriter, would always tell me that you never fill a song with like oohs and ahs and, because it's a waste of your ability to write and it's a waste. But that song Made to Forgive has a lot of that in it. But for me, it's this, the value of singing as a cathartic medium and just sort of like this yelling out. And so I think, this is just a very honest, like, timetable of us, like kind of stumbling to like really desperately want to keep on playing with this group, but it was just too painful at the time. And we certainly didn't ever feel right to play without Alexei. And it didn't feel, it felt like we all needed to be together, but we did need that time. And we want to, keep on making songs together and making new songs. But it's nice to sing these songs now and to have that time where now it is just a song and I'm listening to some of my favorite people to play music with and we're having fun, and the songs become now for me about making beautiful notes together and beautiful feelings, and just the power of music, which I learned from doing folk music too, is that, you sing about these hard times, but the singing out of them is a powerful, medicine, one of the most powerful ones that I've ever experienced. And I am very grateful for singing, for all it's done to help me get through things.
Well, I was going to ask, what is it about this group of people that has kept you together musically over all these years, do you think?
Even like through when we weren't playing together as a band, we were still like getting together for like barbecues and stuff, because all our kids were, I don't have kids, but everybody's kids, I kind of think of them as all of our kids because they were all born around the same time, and the whole, we had the whole baby hotel era of the band where it was like everyone was like, so watching these kids grow up, and it's just so fun to all get together with our families and just like share that. And we were doing that kind of all along. And I think that was a big part of what kept the thread together of just like, we just really care about each other. And so when we're getting together to play music, it's really this extension of that, it seems,
Maybe some kind of astrological alignment that keeps us together. I don't know, we just kind of mesh well. We're we have all different personalities.
Yeah.
And
I can't really put like a reason behind it necessarily, but it does, just like when I look back, it makes perfect sense. Like I'd known James from way back on like hip hop scene era stuff,
Groove Garden.
Yeah, Groove Garden. And so we had a kind of reconnection after I moved back to Minneapolis from New York and the West Coast a little bit. And so, yeah, like that was kind of there. And then, yeah, Channy and I started playing, folk music, and it just, it was like that was an organic thing. And then James kind of got looped into that with helping us like record the first thing, and we recorded at Ben's studio. So then he kind of got, and it was just sort of like this, everything just kind of naturally like, gravitated to what the band is now. And, like Channy said, it was just like when you go through some of those experiences, like, losing family members, babies being born, marriages ending, like it's like very real life stuff, and I think at the core of it was like, you can't really separate the music we made from the life experiences that we were all going through at the same time too. So, I don't know.
Oh, I was just going to say too, and Jessie's still a part of this band, and she's had a third baby this winter, and it's just been so busy with so much family stuff that she wasn't able to do this, but we're hoping she's going to be able to do the show with us on Friday. And we just feel, I'm including her in this because her and her kids and family are also a big part of this.
Yeah. Well, I love the title of the album, We Were Made to Forgive. It seems like it's talking about you being able to forgive, but then all of us collectively being made to forgive. And I'm just wondering, what have you learned about forgiveness in these last 7 or 8 years?
For me, I think it has to start with like, so on the more like smaller scale of like personal, I think it has to start with yourself, like forgiving yourself. And, you know, this can turn into like a Hallmark thing really quick, but like, I just think that before you can really get to a place where you can like genuinely forgive anyone in your life, like it just starts with yourself. So for me, this was kind of a great period of, just a lot of personal forgiveness and from stuff well before this band even started. So that was kind of the big eye-opening epiphany for me, was that, some of the themes of this record around forgiveness and grieving and still being able to like come back together through all of that. It just kind of started with, your own intention and what you bring to the group. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that is probably one of the reasons why I personally have stayed connected with these people, with this group, and wanted to keep on coming back to it, because I've learned that you have to forgive yourself, and then finding a group of people that had also forgiven you and helped you forgive yourself, was really helpful.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier about how these songs were written quite a while ago, and you played a new song during the session today. And I'm just wondering, what are you going to write about now as Roma di Luna?
Yeah.
it's the $1 million question. Whatever we want to, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, one of the cool things about it just seems like the possibilities are really open for both subject matter and stylistically with the band. And we started, it started out as a folk duo, and it really kept evolving, and it's gone into so many directions. And what's been really cool about having the break is we're coming back and not really feeling beholden that we have to be singing about certain subject matter or having any kind of, it's really liberating. And the songs that we're playing now span from our really old catalog to songs we were playing as Roma di Luna but never got to release, to songs we did as Wary, to songs that we have done since. And there are a couple things, some of those, the instrumental track or the tracks with Alexei on them were just in the last few months. So, just before we finished the record. So it's got a really, that wide palette is really exciting, and as far as where it could go, it's really open.
Yeah, I'm finding liberation in my older age of not having to write songs about myself anymore, and enjoying just being able to write songs about fictional characters, which is so. Yeah, I'm enjoying writing songs now, and looking forward to writing more with these guys.
Do you feel like you kind of have to get the personal stuff out first to get to that space?
I think it must be the narcissism of like the 20s, and early 30s. It's like you're like, oh, I just wrote that song and that's not about me. It's interesting and I like it. Singing it, it's like, yeah. So I think we have, but who knows,
Well, we'll be waiting to see what comes next.
Yeah, right.
Thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for making time.
Yeah.